How y'all doing today? I hope all is well. Blessings be to you all. I want to talk to you all today. Speak my mind, my thoughts, as always, in these times, because the word of the Most High needs to be really considered in this day and age. This world has become lost without it, and the world will continue to be lost, but for you and myself, we need to seek understanding. We need to seek to be found, or that's to say, to find ourselves, It is the Father's will that we live, and by His words should we live, words that give us guidance, and words that instruct us and give us understanding of how to rather be and be with one another, As we know how it goes, love the Father, with your all, and to love your neighbor as yourself. It's a matter of selflessness, The Father loved us first, and we are to live in that love. By His love do we live. And under Him, we are all as brothers and sisters in spirit, by spirit, So, but we are brothers in Christ, or brothers in salvation, brothers and sisters in salvation by obedience unto the word, by acknowledgement of the word, consideration of the word. And that is how that is how we know if we have a brother or sister truly, And for those who may struggle with the word, or struggle with obeying the word, or have struggles, let's just say, don't lose hope. Don't give up. You believe in the word. We know we believe in the word of the Most High. We know that it is the way to life, It is the way of life, Imagine it like when certain actions are even done, understand that just as the Father spoke unto the earth and said, let there be light, let there be, anything that He said, let there be, it was possible from His saying. And so as we live, when we do things, in His will, imagine it as Him speaking life, and you want your actions and your life, the way you live it, to align with as if He's speaking, of your life, in the right way, you know. Imagine like being sent rather than falling, As we live, think of it as if, the ways of the carnal man is to fall, but the ways of the Messiah is that he's sent, Understand that. The ways of the fallen man is that he falls. The carnal man falls by his ways, but the Messiah, the salvation, is sent his way. In his ways, he's sent, And so, as we walk this walk of life in this current world, we have to get to a point where we no longer are falling and stumbling. I would say so often, because at times we can stumble, we can fall at times, but the difference is this: one who, let's say, is seeking out the truth, they are able to see how they fall and stumble, and also in seeing it, they seek to change. They seek to not fall and stumble, but to walk uprightly, to walk, we have to be tired of falling to the ways of this world, We have to be tired of it, We have to grow past the ways and the mindset of this world. As we are born in this world, it's the mindset of this world is by default, It is by default, And the true matter of the spirit by being in the state of this world, what shows the spirit is the not only just the desire to change, but the will to change, the will to put forth a spiritual work, that's a work inside of us, within us, to change, to do better, and in order for that, we have to be able to see the wrong ways, as I said, the ways in which this world seeks to program us, seeks to make us think, because ultimately the world wants us to think against one another. The mindset of the world is a mindset of division and of war. But the division comes from, rather, the position of the division is this: embrace wrongdoing and rebuke when one seeks to bring about correction or understanding of correction, It's how the world seeks to, when one seeks to bring about, let's say, opening the eyes, of the people, fellow people in this world, opening their mind, opening their eyes to the ways of the world, It takes going deep, and some people may fear that, some people may fear going deep because it calls about self-reflection. And with change, it has to start with yourself. We have to consider our wrong ways we have wronged one another. But the thing about it is, you have to also keep in mind the end goal. And that's for that mindset. How can you, if you don't like something within you, you have to face it in order to change it, you know? And so how can one, if you dislike it, how can you get rid of it if you are afraid to see it for what it is? You know, we've all have fallen. We all have done wrong, you know. But to see the bigger enemy, the enemy who has what would I say, provoked us to wrongdoing, you know, who has deceived and manipulated from the beginning of time, since the garden, you know, deceiving Eve, and the ways in which Eve thinks, or let's say the woman who is deceived by way of the world is in a way, put it in shorter term, she attacks the masculine frame of the man. You know, she seeks to tear down the uprightness of the man, you know. And so she desires a fallen man, or she desires for the man to fall, you know. And so as you see in the garden, how Eve gave into Adam, because in order for her to feel, or so-called become as a god, you know, knowing good and evil, this is what I get from it, you know. And having a certain knowledge, you know, and understand this, and having a certain knowledge, you know, having a certain knowledge, you seek to apply it, you know. Eve desired to become as a god. The way to becoming as a god, so-called knowing good and evil, was to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you know. So now she has a knowledge that so-called makes her as a god. It's the evil aspect of it. And how does she know, really, if that is the case? How can she feel, let's say, above or on top? Is in a sense to exercise the so-called power that she had from eating from the tree. Influence. And as you see with the tree, it, in many ways, it reflects and embodies really the essence of disobedience to the Father. It is in itself just the depiction of, you know, disobedience, and really how one can, let's say, feel a sense of power from disobeying, you know, going outside of the will of the Most High. And so, as I said, and her giving to the man to eat, she sees how she exercises the so-called power, you know. Now, one thing that you also need to understand is that as the man, the woman can't have that power unless you give in, you know. But the understanding of that power is this. Understand that this is, look at the ways of the world, you know, and how the world tells man to be, and how the world influences the woman to be, you know. The power that the enemy, the so-called power the enemy gives the woman, is only an understanding of something very carnal and base, you know. Pretty much that it's almost like this. When a woman feels like she knows the mind of the man, and feels like she's at the top of the man's mind, you know, she will see what she can and can't. She will see what she can get away with, what she can do. And in that sense, the only thing that they couldn't do was eat from the tree. So everything else was possible. So in a sense, eating from the tree would be that one thing that she seeks to utilize to see if the power from this different mindset that she now has works. It's a whole different mindset now. Instead of being with the man as a helpmeet, now she seeks to rather, it's like a game. And the game is seeing, what she can do, And in that sense, she becomes a so-called God. But it's in the matter of playing games. Simply put, And so the same type of woman that plays games will seek a man who can play the game better than her, who can smooth talk her or make her feel, but all by way of game. Now you have a man or a man who doesn't play games, and that man just seeks to lead in who he is. And that man or man will have to discern, look at the woman and see what is within her. Is it the spirit of, let's say Eve after eating from the tree? Or is it a woman who truly desires the true form and order and masculinity within you, And so as we live in this lost world, one thing is for certain, this world is dangerous. It's unstable. But it seeks to grasp the mind of the man and woman by way of entertainment, by way of fear, doubt, and worry. And now you think about paradise, the mindset of someone in paradise. What do they have to fear when they know what they have? When they know what they have in the Father, under the Father, in the will of the Father. It's the Father's will that we have paradise. And as the word even says, the Most High is not the author of confusion. Confusion comes, imagine knowing what you have and then somebody tries to tell you that you don't have something, or tell you that it's something of value that you don't have, to see. But in order to get that, you have to sacrifice what you have. That's deception and confusion, as it was in the beginning. And so in this day and age, as I said, man, just as paradise was lost by the words of the enemy and feeding into the words of the enemy, so we are in now a lost world. It's the result of falling from paradise. But the words of the Father restores us to paradise, And so, as I said, just consider how the world is. Consider how the world really. Look at the world and see how it's just like a big game board, And the platform or the game board is really, it is, let's say this, the world is the game board, and the enemy is who structures and plays the game, who structures the game, The world is the mindset of Eve. The enemy is the serpent playing games with the mind of Eve. And understand that the desires of this world, just like how the desires of the tree of knowledge of good and evil,